Hey guys, it looks like I am live for a special live to just check out this cool new form builder that Groove pushed out and updated yesterday. So, just a couple of caveats as we get started. Uh, I don't work for Groove. Most of you know that. I work with Groove every day, all day, but I don't work for Groove. So I don't know all the ins and outs, and I probably won't know some of what's happening. But if you would, while you're watching this, give me a hashtag live in the chat anytime you log in so that I can see who's here. And also, if you would um, give me any questions, or some of you I know have already played around with it and you had some questions I saw in the Facebook groups. So, yeah, here goes. I'm going to go ahead and share screen. I'm going to try to keep up with the chat. It's just me. I don't have anybody else watching the chat with me. So um, here goes. I'm going to do a share screen, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at this screen. Perfect. I'll pull that one over here, and we're going to take a look. And I'm going to walk through just what I've already seen. And again, if you have questions or you just want to let me know you're here, give me a comment in the chat. And so I know I'm not just here doing this with nobody around. I see a couple of you watching it. So, all right. So inside of GrooveMail, we now have a new form builder. And I'm going to go in here and pop in, and we're going to take a look at sort of the basic plan for building a form. And then we're going to go back and look at some of the options that you have when you're in there. So form builder, everything looks the same here on the front page. Like it looks just like it used to. And what we're going to do is we're going to click new form, and we're going to call this form builder demo and save and continue. So from here, we have a couple of steps that are going to look new and are going to be new. That these are the steps that let us actually build a nice looking form that we could embed anywhere. And also to do some of the settings that I used to recommend you do on Groove pages, where you make it sort of look a lot nicer. That we can do a lot of that inside of here now. So you obviously see this looks very similar. We've got the name and the email automatically on it with a submit button. You have these little drag handles now that you could put the name above, put the name below, and of course add fields. I'm going to just add, for the sake of demo, I'm going to add the last name. And so we have the email first and last name, and then we're going to, that's it. First step is to add the fields. We could change this to say demo, the new form, and change this to whatever we want. I'm going to leave that the way it is and click next. All right, so at this point, we are in what's called the design section. And this is where we're going to be able to change the color, change the style of the fields, and lots of good things. So first, I'm just going to show you what happens if you click inside the form. The style bar comes over here on the right-hand side, and we're just going to walk down through what we can do now in the standard settings before we get into advanced mode. So we obviously, with the form, we can change the text color. We can change the background color. So let's just do something so we can see it. We can add an image. So if we want to, we can just put an image behind the form, and then we can't see it, obviously, because we have this transparency this high. So you can see that you can have an image in the background, or you can do the whole little shading transparency. I'm just going to hide the image so it's easier to see what we're doing with formatting. Okay, then we can, for the form itself, we can change the borders. Okay, and I'm not seeing that change. Oh, because we're on the form. Okay, so as I said, I might be doing something wrong. It looks like that should be changing the corners of the form, but we're going to leave that as it is. And that's kind of the background of the form. So now we can change the header font and make it black, so you can see we can change the font, the color of the font, size of the font, and those kinds of cool things. Of course, we have header 2, and then we have paragraphs, and I doubt David's going to tune in today just because he was probably working really hard yesterday to get this pushed. But I'm assuming that we're going to be able at some point to add some text on here. Otherwise, I don't know why we would want to change the style of the paragraph text. So we're just going to ignore that for now because there's no paragraph text in here. So now for fields, we can go into the fields and from the beginning, let's do this. Let's make the the text color. We've got the label color, the placeholder, the background color. So let's go just put a color in there. And so it's interesting because it changed first and last, but I'm not sure why it doesn't change the email. So again, I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to work or if we're just not there yet. But we just changed the background color. That's going to change it. I think it should change it on all fields you have on your form in the setting we're on right now. We can change the spacing, and so if we were to go in here and push the text over to the right, but again, it doesn't change the email field. So I don't know. I'm not positive why that happens right now. Again, I'm demoing it one day after push, and I could be missing something, but I just wanted to show you. All right. We can put a shadow on the fields as well. So that's the fields and then the button. So of course we have pretty much your standard options. We can change the color of the text. Let's make that white. And then this one already has a blue background. We'll change that to, I don't know, some red so we can see what it looks like. And we have the alignment of the button. We can make it a right, justified, center, left, or full. And we should be able to round that off, which we can. And that's the basic customization that you can do if you want to just change the form to your style. Obviously, this looks hideous, but you get the idea. But then we go into advanced mode. And in advanced mode, we can go into the specific field. So for example, email. Oh, I see it has personalization on it. So apparently it came in personalized. And I'm going to just remove that. And then it should look like the normal fields. So when you come in here, if you click personalize, you can change a particular field, each field into its own format if you want to. So that's what this advanced option. So if you go personalize and let's go make it right justified, right? You can change all of the settings on each individual field when you are in advanced mode. That's the primary I think that's the primary thing in advanced mode that I've noticed. So we're just going to leave that on the way it is. And so that's kind of the basics of, you can change the background, you can change the style of the fields. But what do we do? One of the nice things is that we can go beyond that, changing the color and the style of the fields, and we can actually change the layout of the form itself. So in order to do that, we go over here to settings, and then we click custom. So we have a vertical, horizontal. We can just make it horizontal so that it automatically puts all the fields across the form, but we can do custom. And that's what I want to do next. So when you choose custom, rows and columns shows up here in the upper right. And this is going to be, if we click so you can see it, this is going to start to look a little bit like if you've ever used JotForm or other form creation tools, JotForm especially, you can add rows and columns. So right now you can see this is just one row. So this entire section here is called a row, and it just has one column. So they're just lined up down the row. They're just lined up in one column vertically. Okay. So what we want to do is we can do this. First of all, we can just use with the one row and click add column. So we could, if we wanted to, we could grab this field. So there's little drag handles that show up everywhere. We could grab this field and move it over here if we wanted to. We could add another column. We could add another column. And then once you have columns, you can delete them if you decide you don't want them. And if you delete them, the field's just going to go back over to the place where it fits. So that's one thing. But what if you want to, first of all, I'm going to go over here to this advanced mode. This is bothering me. And I'm going to make the color of the field white. There we go. So we can see that email field. Okay, so what if you want to make just the first and last name horizontal and leave the email all the way across? So that's what we can do if we do add a row, and we're going to just move the email in here, and we'll go ahead and move the submit button down there as well. So now we have a row with two fields on it, and if we add a row, oops, sorry, not add a row. Let's delete that. Add a column. Yeah, this is something I'm not sure if this is the way it's supposed to work or not. But if I click on here, it seems like I could add a column. There's probably a way to add a column, but when I click add column, it just does it down here. So let me do it this way. I'm going to take first name and put it over here, and I'm going to take last name and put it over here. Then I'm going to take email and submit and put it up here. Whoops. And then I'm going to take this row, and if I click here, that'll drag the whole row. I'm going to drag that row up to the top. And so you see all the outlines of the rows and columns. If we hide that now, you can see that the form is set up with a couple of fields across the page. So if you had small drop-down fields or something, you wanted to put 3 or 4 across the page, and then you just wanted to have single columns below it, you can do all of that with this row columns. But you have to go over to settings and choose custom in order to do that. And currently, it looks like we're looking at nice. I just noticed this. This is showing you how many pixels as opposed to just the screen size. So you can actually adjust this if you want to and say, well, I want this second one. I want to see what it looks like a little bit larger. And this is just giving you, you can see that the form adjusts to the size of the page. So that's nice. All right. So that is the layout type, or that is the settings. So you got 3 options up here. So before I started on this, I started with a blank form. And when I came in, let's go to build form again. I just added the fields if you were tuned in. So instead of doing that, what I could have done is gone to templates. And templates are pre-built forms that you could start with if you like in a hurry, or if you don't want to spend the time. I'm gonna use this one just so you can see it. If you don't want to spend the time trying to get all the stuff lined up in the columns and rows. So it says the fields will be overridden and a preset will be imported. So yeah, it's going to choose different sets of fields in the template and pull those in. So let's take a look. So actually, that's interesting. It just brought the fields in. Let me try it again. I'm thinking it would want to set them up the way maybe I wasn't seeing what I thought it was. I'm going to use it again. All right, so we have a basic form. Let's go to design. And maybe if we try the presets. So we have presets for, I see that they're still adding some, a local business appointment. So let's try that. So that just changes sort of the look of it. I made a preset here. This is not working. Sorry, mine isn't working. Vertical, dark background, horizontal template. So essentially what you see here, I'm not sure the difference between the preset and the template. That's what I'm not positive about the difference. So we'll figure that out as we go. But when we go to the next step, which is the setup, now it looks exactly like the form creation did before. So if we go to the next step and we choose a list and then we say next, now we have another new area that is really nice, in my opinion. So on the left here, if we click memberships, when you create a form, So this is a question that I answered not that long ago. How do you give somebody free access to a membership without having to go through a checkout? And so what you had to do in the past was you had to create a form, you had to set up the form, then you had to set up an automation that said if the form's filled out, add them to the membership. So now in the form itself, we can click add new membership. We can select the membership just like we normally would for adding a membership and add the access and click add. And you could add multiple memberships if you had multiple access points that you wanted to give to people. So that's the first thing. We can automatically give people access to a membership. The second thing is we can go into the integrations and add a new integration. So um, instead of having to build a form with fields and a form container, you can now use a form built in Groove and add an integration. For example, let's add an active campaign. Yeah, my credentials are not correct. Let's see if Aweber is going to let me do it. Yeah, same thing. These are all old credentials. All right, let's see if I'm just going to grab a MailChimp integration and see if it lets me do that. Add the integration. Yeah, my integrations are not working. I don't use integrations. I do have Zapier. Let's see if we can do that. So when I click Zapier, I can't click select. So not sure about the integrations. Oh, it did add it. Look, it just wasn't showing up there before. So it added the integration, and then you can also connect it to a webhook for any other API that's using a webhook. And finally, you can connect a file. So if I want to deliver the 20-step cheat sheet when they fill out the form, I can go into my files. I can either upload a file. There's an option for external files stored somewhere else, and I can click select. So now what's going to happen is when somebody fills out this form, they're going to automatically get an email that has a link to the file that they want to download. So you don't have to put the link into your response email. You can just automatically deliver it this way. And from there on, we have the embed code, which you can copy and paste and put into a code embed element, or you can put this into a site built somewhere else where you want to just embed a Groove mail form on some other site that you have. And so this is the embed code. Here we're selecting a preset again for the embed code, and I'm going to have to go back and review the training on this because I'm not, again, positive what the preset is compared to the template, why you would use one or the other. But what I do know is when we finish this, I now have a new form that's built, and you saw how it was, how it was looking. Let's go into Groove Pages, and we're just going to go into a site that I have out there that I've been playing around with this morning, and let's just delete the ones we have on here. All right. So in the past, what we did is we brought in a form, and then we formatted all of the fields inside of Groove Pages. So now the way it works, we go into Elements, we go to Groove Apps, we grab a Groove Mail form, and I'm just going to put it above that text there. Very nice. So I complained about this earlier, but they made a nice placeholder instead of that ugly thing that they used to have. So thank you, Groove. Thank you for that update. It's a little thing, but it makes it a little more pleasing on the eyes. All right. So what we're going to do now, which by the way, everybody, it also says to me that there are still some things being shifted and adjusted, and you can expect things to work even a little bit better as the days go further. But let's do this. Let's go to the gear. And what we're going to do is we're going to select the new form that I just created. And the first time I bring it in, I'm not going to use the presets from Groove Mail. So let's see what happens when I bring that in. Okay, so in that case, it's kind of bringing it in as far as I can tell. It's bringing it in Yeah, it's bringing it in like it used to. So that's what I was just mentioning. This is how it worked in the most recent iteration. So you can go to each field. Let's first of all, let's make this width full. And then you could go to the button. You can see we're on a form submit button here. You could change the background and go through the settings again while you're on the page. So that's one way to bring it in, is without any GrooveForm presets. So let's go bring it in again, and let's bring it in with, let's put it somewhere where we know it's, there we go. We'll put it there. Okay, so again, we got the placeholder. Looks very nice. And then we go click on the gear, and this time we're going to use the presets from GrooveMail. And we're going to choose Form Builder Demo. Now here's where we have to use, so we're using a preset instead of a template. See, it says horizontal template. This says dark background, bright text. I'm not positive, and hopefully I'll figure that out, or David will make it clear for us, or maybe Robert will in the main group. But I'm going to go with my form template, and you can edit the selected form by clicking here. This is kind of cool because while you're in Groove Pages, when you connect the form with the drop downs, you can click here and it's going to take you directly into the form to edit the form, which I would assume this means then that if you make the changes here and done editing and come back, it's going to be updated. But let's go update and close and see what we got. Okay, so this is the form that you saw uh, with my template. And if you go to the size, and we're going to go to 100%, yeah, you can see the form is here just like it was in, let's see, edit, pretty much like it looks like here. Now, one thing, I'm positive this is going to change, but one thing that I noticed right now is, and I'm not sure how to fix this, but when you're editing the form and you go to design, I don't see a way in the editor, even in advanced mode. Let's go to fields, and let's click on the first name field. Let's see, not fields. Let's go to first name, because I'm trying to put some space below it, but oh, there we go. Never mind. I just found it. Okay, nice. So when you personalize it, you can make more space between one element and another element. So that's nice. Great. I could not figure that out before. All right, so now this one is personalized. The submit button is personalized. And we're going to go ahead while we're doing this, and we're going to put rounded corners on it. Whoops, my bad. Okay, we're apparently on first name now. Yeah. Oh, yes, because we had to okay, so we had to personalize the first name field in order to be able to add space, but we don't have the email field personalized. So if we do that, all right, let me try something else, everybody. Hang on, hang with me. I'm gonna get rid of the personalization on first name, remove it. Now we don't have any spacing here, but now I'm going to go turn the advanced mode off and go to fields and see if I can do that spacing. What happens if I do this now? Yeah, it puts space after each field that's in there. So that still doesn't, let me see what happened. Okay, can we do it for the button? Maybe we need to put the space above the button. I bet that's what we have to do. I'm used to pushing things down the page. There we go. Okay, so we can just put the space above the button. All right, good to know. Let's go ahead while we're here and say done editing. Now, what happens when I go back to here and save and refresh the page? Actually, let's just go out and come back in. Hey, Cecilia, how's it going? And Yeah, it doesn't seem like it took the, it doesn't look to me like it has the updated version of it. Let's go click on the form, and let's click on the gear, and let's click edit. And we're in design mode. Oh, it didn't save it. Wonder what happened there. Let's go to the button. And apparently I didn't click done editing or something. I'm going to put the space above the button again, just so we can see that there's a change. And I'm going to click go to setup, go to integrations, go to embed. Let's go back to design, make sure it's still, now, okay, it went away. Wonder if you have to click done editing, or maybe it's just a little bug right now. I don't want to spend too much time on bugs, right? So if we do done editing and then we come back into it, yeah. Am I not looking at the right form? It says more fields on it. Yeah. So it's losing that button formatting apparently. Not a big deal. Just something that I noticed. I don't know if I don't think putting if we go to design and we go to settings, custom, do rows and columns. What if we do another row and put the submit button in the second row? What would that do? Still doesn't have the space. So again, this is just me playing around. Can I add an admin person and give some access to a blog? Okay, no. And this live isn't about that. I'll answer your question though. No, you can't add a second person onto your account at this point. You just have to have them log in through the main login. That's supposed to change at some point, but at this point, that's the way it works. I'm sorry, I can't see who you are. It just says Facebook user. So yeah, that's the thing right now that I think I'd like to see. I'm thinking it's just a glitch right now. So I'm sure if David ever takes a look at this, or I'm sure their team has already noticed it and they're working on it. Okay, let's go while we're here. And since we're in rows and columns, let's wonder what happens if I take this column. I noticed you can drag the field, or you can drag the column, or you can drag the entire row. So what happens if I take the column and move it up here? Yeah, then there's nothing in this. And add a column down here. And then move this field back down here. This is a complicated way of doing it. Don't do it this way. I'm going to grab this field and pull it over there. No problem. Whoever said, asked the question and then said, thanks, sorry, not a problem at all. So we still have the space issue a little bit. So that'd be interesting to see if we can get that to work. I wonder what happens if we put the button above. Well, no, that's not what we want to do. Let's go back to our rows and columns. Move this back down here. Let's take the whole row, put the button above, and see if we got the same issue. What if we put the spacing? Don't mind me while I just play around with options, right? So let's put the spacing below and see if it saves that spacing. Now, again, I keep editing the wrong form. My bad. I think this is the one I want to edit. Anybody watching and paying attention what I'm doing wrong here? I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. I'm confusing myself with the two forms I have. I'm going to delete this. What questions do you have? Somebody said, can you add the, okay, somebody asked if you could add the phone field and have it not be required. So let me check. So grab phone and save it. Yeah, so it shows as required. What happens if we click on this right here and then click the pencil? Let's check it out. Yep. So I think if we can't check, we can't uncheck it. Okay. So I'm pretty sure that's a glitch because it should not be absolutely required, I think. But it looks to me like whoever asked that question in another group at this point, it does look like we're not able to uncheck this required. Let's see if we can make this one required. Yeah. So it looks like for whatever reason, phone is a required field and probably shouldn't be. So let's see what else. I think that's about it. I wanted to show you what embedding looks like. So if we go back into Groove Pages and let's go, we're just going to create a new page, or we'll go look on another page. It doesn't have a form. Okay, so there's no form on here. We're going to go grab the code embed and put it right here under the thank you. And then we're going to click here, click the gear, paste the embed code in there. And again, you can't see it until you preview it or publish. So let's just go take a preview of it. So this is what I wanted to show you, is that you can embed this form now anywhere, including, okay, I haven't even tried it, but let's go take a look at Grooveblog. All right, let's go to Grooveblog because we're supposed to be able to use these forms. I'm going to use, let's go with a blog that's not really being used right now. So if we go to settings and we go to forms, and so here's the form builder demo, and we select the preset. So I'm going to go for my new form template. You can edit the selected preset from this URL. You can edit the selected preset from this URL. Oh, so if I want to edit the preset, so okay, this is different. So we're editing the preset. Somebody at Groove help me out because I'm confused as to what I'm editing. But if I click save here, and then I go to my blog, whoops, sorry, that's not what I wanted to do. It was this one. Let's open the blog and visit. It's not published. Let's go to publish. And it is publishing. I don't know what demo this is on. Let's visit the blog now. FinishYourFunnelAcademy.com. Let me go. This is an old demo site. Let's just do it on my regular blog. So let's go back to home. And let's go to All About Groove Funnels. And let's go to settings, forms. And we're going to use, let's just do the form builder demo and see what happens. Save that. Go back to publish. I might need to check my settings and make sure I have it turned on. Let's see in the themes. Yeah, it's there. Okay. So we're going to exit this and we're going to go into publish and take a look at the blog. Look at that. It's got the colors, and I'm not sure what that is. It looks like the second column doesn't look great in there, but it's using the, you can style your form that's on your blog, which is something that I know some of my customers have been asking for. So I'm not sure what's happening there. It looks like it just squeezed it too far. So I think that's a matter of, let's go take a look at the form builder. And what would happen if we edited this and we go to design and we check the settings. Yeah, let's just squeeze this thing. No. But see, I think it's less than, well, that's 300 pixels. So it seems like it should be working. Not sure why the blog doesn't like it. But there you go. So you might want to still have a form, even because this is kind of narrow anyhow. You might want to use a form on your blog that is just basically vertical, no horizontal involved in it. But there you go. That's my demo. If you guys have something else you want to ask about, let me know. I did get an email a while ago when I tested this. Let's see if I can find what the email looks like if you connect a file to your form. So let me see if I can find that. I got, and this is interesting. It came from GrooveCell. And it said, here are your files. So that's what I was saying. It looks like this isn't an email we can edit at this point, but it just says, here are the links to access your files. So it's automatically sending that email, whether you send an autoresponder or not. And then it's the button to download the file. So that's how that works. All right, guys, that's it. That's all I got. Let's see if I can find my page here again and stop sharing screen. And yeah, just ask if you're here and you had a comment or a question about the forms. What do you like about it? What would you like to see different? If not, I'm going to show you one other thing in Groove Pages. And since I'm not seeing anybody ask any questions, I am going to present, share screen, entire screen, this, share. All right. So another thing that got pushed yesterday that you might not have noticed is inside of your Groove Pages, if you go up here, you have these areas for funnels, webinars, and of course pop-ups, but funnels and webinars is what I want to show. So when you have a funnel that's inside of your site, you now have the capability of editing the funnel settings and enabling a funnel slug. And what this does is, first of all, I'll turn it off and then go in and look at the pages. So this page would be yourdomain.com/funnel1. That would be the name of the page. But if we go to the settings for the funnel and we say, yes, use a funnel slug, and I'm just going to say slug so you can see that. And we say slug. Now, when we go look at the names, we've added slug/slug. So all of the pages are under a new folder called slug, which would make more sense if you had northeast, south, and west locations, or you wanted to go / courses, and then list a bunch of course pages or something like that. But that's an additional, this is a new thing that was added in this last push, I think. So you can now change the slug of the entire funnel to have this URL in front of the page URL that's going to be on the funnel. So that's another cool thing that was just added. All right, guys, that then is definitely all I'm going to share today because I don't have any more to do. And yeah, take a look at build yourself a form, play around with it. Don't forget that if you want to use horizontal positioning, you have to go into the settings and go to custom settings so that you can do that. But have fun. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you later.